Welcome back SQL enthusiasts. I'm Himavant. So this is part 9 of StarAgile's exclusive SQL learning series. In this video, we'll be discussing about the DQL commands part 2. Part 1 is already live in YouTube. If you have missed any of the previous videos, kindly click on the link above. If you are someone looking to master SQL and earn a professional certification, you can go through our DevOps course link which is attached in the description. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. So in this video, we'll be discussing few WHERE clause commands over here, and also next we'll see further commands which we can write using the select command, guys. Okay, so which are like using the aggregations or using the group bys, or how to use the case statements, or how to use the coalesce functions over here. We have few additional commands which we can work it on using the select command over here. Okay, so talking about this WHERE clause over there, as we have seen already few particular conditions by using the operators, right? So using the operators we can give the conditions, and even in the data also, if you want to find any dissimilarities over there, so if any such data, if it is there, and how to find it out. So likewise we can look into this data over here. Like now if I write a command select star from employees, so if this is the data what we are looking after over here, which is like employees table. Okay, in this table we have such particular columns, like basically this is the complete data of the employees. So now in this data, okay, in this particular data over there, now I want to find out if there are any particular employees who are not having any manager IDs, or fetch me the details. Okay, so I want to fetch the details of the employees who doesn't have any bonus. Okay, so likewise if I want to fetch any details in such a way, then I need to write a command where I need to check with, okay, so give me the details of the employees who are having null in the bonus, or give me the details of the employees who are having null in the manager ID. Okay, so likewise you can execute this commands over here. And how to write those commands? So select star from employees where bonus is null. Means I am simply saying that, so by the sentence itself you can understand here that select the complete data from the employees. Okay, what data it should select? Okay, where bonus is null. So wherever you find null in the bonus, fetch only that particular data. Semicolon, control enter. See, now you can find few certain employees who are having null in the bonus. Okay, so now specifically looking into one particular employee ID itself means, then I can give another condition here. Okay, so where bonus is null, and okay, so we have seen this operators, right? And operator, or operator, in operator. So any of the operators you can use, and you can use the further command over here, and manager underscore ID equal to, let's say if I mention 2 semicolon and enter. See, so people who are reporting to manager ID 2 over there, there are 3 people who are having null in the bonus. So now specifically I can identify from the particular whole data over here, right? So now if I write another command, so now I want to find out first of all who and all are not having any manager IDs. Okay, so now select star from employees where manager underscore ID is null, semicolon, control enter. See, now it is giving me the details of the employees who are having manager ID as null. Okay, likewise whatever the data you want over there, you can fetch that particular data from the table by using a select command here, guys. Okay, so now if I want to fetch, okay, so there are few people who are having manager ID as null, and there are also few people who are having null in the bonus. Okay, now combinationally I want to check. So give me the details. I means the client asked me or the management asked me, check with the details of the employees. Okay, so check with the employees details who are having null in the bonus and also null in the manager. Means basically I want to fetch the details of the employees who doesn't have any bonus and also who doesn't have any manager ID also. Then I can write select star from employees where. Okay, so anything whenever you're giving a condition, where clause. Okay, so where bonus is null. So first condition is null. We have two conditions now. So what are those two conditions? I want the details of the employees who are having null in the bonus and also null in the manager, means who doesn't have any bonus and also who doesn't have any manager ID. Right, so where bonus is null and manager underscore ID is null. Control enter. See, now there are few people who don't have a manager ID and who don't have a bonus also. Okay, so these are the people whom we need to do some updations. Okay, let's say I want to update the details of certain employees. Okay, I have the complete 280 records, 280 employees I have. Out of this 280 employees, how many people are not having any manager IDs or how many people are not having any bonus? So what happened to this particular records over there? Why the manager IDs or bonus are not updated? If they are not updated, who are those employees? So this is how I can able to understand. So people who have joined in 2017 for one person and in 2019 and 2020. In these 3 years, there are 5 people who doesn't have a manager ID and who doesn't have a bonus also. Okay, and how I am able to find only the specific data? By giving a where clause and giving a condition for this null. So if you want to check with the data who is having null over there, we need to mention is null. If you want to check with the data who is not having null, is not null. Okay, so this is how we need to deal with the null case. So how we need to mention is null or is not null. Okay, so this is the conditions what we need to give when you want to deal with the null data over here, guys. Okay, so that is how we are able to fetch this specific data over here. And we'll try one more command, select star from employees. Okay, so now if you want to give any other conditions over there, where clause. Okay, so when you are using a where clause, give the column, give the condition accordingly and write the command. Okay, so likewise we have already seen a few where clause conditions over there using the operators. So then these are the commands which we are using the where clause and dealing with the null. Okay, so these are enough. So this is null or is not. Okay, so if I write select star from employees where bonus is not null, semicolon, control enter. See, now it will fetch the details of only the employees who are having a certain value in the bonus. Okay, and if I don't want to include any null. Okay, so first I have been understanding the data over here that bonus has a null and manager ID has a null. So I don't want to include these two. Okay, people who are having null in the bonus also I don't want to include. People who are having null in the manager ID also I don't want to include. Okay, so bonus is not null and manager underscore ID is not null, semicolon, control enter. See, now it will exclude the people who doesn't have a manager ID and also it will exclude people who doesn't have a bonus also. Okay, so if you give and both the condition satisfaction, now not like this anywhere, if in case if they have null in the bonus or if in case if they have null in the manager ID also, both if I want to exclude. So instead of and operator I'll use OR. Oh, okay. So when I say OR, is having null, but people who are having manager ID so and so value, still it is giving the data. So it's better to use AND here. Okay. So both the records it will exclude. Okay. So this is how you need to deal with the null using the WHERE clause case. So now the next commands we'll learn over here is aggregations. Okay. So what are the aggregations we have over here? So first of all, what is meant by aggregations? So aggregation means few arithmetic calculations over here, guys. And what are the type of aggregations we have are sum, min, max, next average, and count, standard deviation. Okay, so this is an additional calculation over there. So basically most of the people will have an idea about what is this meant by sum, min, max, average, count. So what is meant by sum over here? Total. Okay, so if I want any total, I can use sum. So min means the minimum value, max means the highest value, average means the average. So total sum of values by total number of values. That is how we'll calculate the average here. So count means basically how many records, the count. Okay, so that is how we can use this aggregations over here on the numerical data we'll use, guys. Okay, so aggregations will not use them on any of the character data or any other data types. Aggregations can be used only on the numerical data over here. And which and all the aggregations? Sum, min, max, average, standard deviation. Okay, so these are the aggregations which we'll use on the numerical data. Okay, and now we'll see how these aggregations will work, guys. Okay, so now these are the commands what we executed on WHERE clause with is null. Now we are dealing with the aggregations. Okay, so now the aggregations on this employees table itself, I want to check with a few particular values, guys, like what is the total money. Okay, what is the total money we are spending for the salaries. Okay, so management also want to have a final output of what is the total money where the management is spending for the salaries. Then we can write a command select sum of salary, right? So how much money you are spending for the salary means obviously salary will do the total. So sum of salary from employees, control enter. So what is the total money we are management is spending? Almost 1,000, so almost 1,94,02,000 rupees. That is the amount what the management is spending for the salaries for the employees, right? So now if you observe this data over here, sum of salary. Okay, so sum of salary, what is the aggregation you are performing? The same it is showing as a heading, guys. Okay, so like this I don't want. So till now what and all the output we have seen, basically the same data, what are the same columns what you have from the table we are printing. Now when you do any further calculations over there, okay, any calculation you perform, every other calculation format it will show in the heading, guys. Okay, I don't want the heading like this. So what is the calculation I'm doing? I don't want it the heading means then we need to do something, or we need to add something called as alias names. Okay, so select sum of salary and what we can mention is as. Okay, so to give the alias names we need to mention as, and you can give any of the name. So I'll give avg underscore salary, control enter. See now what is the heading we have, what is the column name we have, avg underscore salary. Okay, and this alias name will work for any of this outputs case. So for any column, any calculation when you are performing, if you want to change the column name over there, simply you can give an alias name. Okay, so any of the columns it is possible over there. Okay, so now if I write sum, we have seen this. Okay, how the remaining aggregations will work, we'll see now. So sum or min or max or average or standard deviation or any these aggregations will work on this numerical data over there. Now if I write avg of salary comma min of salary max of salary employees. Okay, so what we are doing basically over here, we are trying to find out what is the average salary. Okay, so what is the average salary out of the complete employees over here, and also what is the minimum salary. Okay, what is the lowest salary from this my employees table over there, and next what is the highest salary in this employees table. So these are the details what I am trying to find over here. See now avg underscore salary means it is giving me the average. What is the average we have? 69,292. Next, the minimum salary, the lowest salary of this 280 employees is 49,000. And what is the highest salary of this employees is, out of this 280 employees is 90,000 over here, right? So this is how we can find out what is the total salaries or the minimum or maximum or average, all how we are able to find this data over there by mentioning this aggregations. And one thing to understand over here, so one thing to be more cautious whenever you are using this aggregations is we should not add any additional columns while we are printing this database. Why? Because sum of salary, so how the sum is giving, so any aggregations you take over here, either it can be a sum, average, min, max, count or standard or any aggregation, they will give you a single value output. Okay, so what they will do, they will give you a single value output over here. So when it is able to give a single value output, if I try to add any additional columns, like if I write select first underscore name comma sum of salary from employees. See, what is the mistake, what is the error I am getting over here in the action output? So in aggregated query without group by expression means basically it is saying that okay, whatever the data you are printing over here, so for the sum of salary I can able to print a single value, but for the first name there is no such group by anything used over here. How can I print a single name, right? Obviously we cannot print a single name here because there are 280 employee names we have, but sum of salary can give you a single output, but first name cannot provide you a single value output. So basically this kind of commands what I am showing over here on this line number 104, this commands used to work in older versions guys. Okay, in the older versions of MySQL this command used to work, which is actually a wrong output. Okay, so that's not an accurate data. Why? Because when it is able to print a first name with sum of salary, I cannot conclude that that is the only person who is having sum of total salary as this so and so, right? I cannot print a single name. This sum of salary is combining of all the employees. At that point I cannot print a single name. So in the newer versions they rectified this particular issue and now they are giving the errors. Okay, means they are saying that okay, so we cannot print the data in aggregated measures over there. Okay, in aggregated measure values means basically there is no such single value it can print from the first name. Okay, so that is what we need to understand here. Okay, and any of this data, any calculations you perform, if you want to change the column name over there, the calculation what you perform, if you want to change it, then we need to give alias names like this. Okay, so alias names you can give, and this alias names, as I mentioned, on any of this particular columns it will work, guys. Okay, and even just or not just basically using the aggregations, normal commands also it will work. So now if I write select emp underscore id comma first underscore name last underscore name salary. Next, if I want to do any calculation on the pre-existing columns, so if I write salary into 0.3 from employees, control enter. So what it is doing, basically what I am finding over here is what is the 30% of the salary, guys. Okay, so we already have a column called as bonus. Okay, if not like that, okay, so the other requirement for me is other question for me is give me the details of the employees. Okay, so fetch the details of how much can be the 30% of their salary. Okay, so if the management is planning to give 30% as bonus to them, how much an employee can get? So now you can see, so if a person is having salary as 55,000, the 30% of this 55,000 is 16,500. And now if you observe here, this is one particular column which we generated now. Okay, so in this generated column over there, what is the calculation I do? Everything as it is showing as a heading. I don't want to show like this. Then simply I'll give it as %% bonus. Keep it in single or double quotations when you are giving alphanumerical case. Okay. Okay. Now salary 30% bonus, and this 30% bonus. So what is this column over here? Do we have any column called as 30% bonus in our employees? No, we don't have any column like that. So this is a column which we'll call it as a derived column. What is meant by a derived column here means the columns which are generated by doing some calculations on the pre-existing columns. Okay, those are called as the derived columns over here. Okay, so now alias name I have given, and I have did some calculation on the pre-existing column. Okay, so like this, for any of this calculations you perform on any of the columns over there, you can change the alias names, case. Okay, yeah. So coming back to this aggregations, what are the aggregations we performed? Sum of salary, average, min, max over here. Okay, and what we need to understand whenever we do the aggregations, we should not add any additional columns which are not related to the aggregations here. Okay, yeah. So now I'll show select stdev of salary of employees, control enter. Okay, it is saying that there is no such function called as stdev. Standard deviation. Okay, so likewise you have few aggregations also, guys. Okay, so now this aggregations we performed well and good, it is giving me the outputs, guys. Okay, if I write average of salary from employees, it is giving me an output. Okay, now out of this output over there, if you observe 69,292 and next point 857143, almost 6 decimal places it is giving. Okay, so now when I'm printing this data, when I'm doing a calculation, and when I'm extracting the output over here, so in this particular numerical outputs what I am driving over here, I don't want to see additional or more decimal places. I just want to see only 2 decimal places, or I don't want the decimal places itself. Okay, so then if you want to remove any of these decimal places over there, then simply we need to round off this particular data, guys. And how to do the rounding off? So rounding off means basically removing the decimal places. So to round off this particular data, select round, and what data I want to round? This average of salary, average of salary from employees. See, 69,293. If you want a decimal places, then within this round itself, I need to mention comma 2. If I mention 2, it will take 2 decimal places. If I mention 1, it will take 1 decimal. But what is happening whenever you do any of this calculation over there? Everything is showing in the heading. I don't want it in the heading. So what I'll do? I'll write as salary space is missing. Yeah, see, average salary, this is the average salary over here. Okay, so this is how rounding off calculation is performed, guys. Average only we are performing, we are extracting or we are fetching the average itself, but within that average value we are rounding off this values over here. This is how rounding off calculation will work. Okay, so these are all the aggregations what we have seen over here till now, which are sum, average, min, max, and next standard deviation. And additionally, along with this data, we have seen rounding also, how to do the rounding over here. Next, what is one more last aggregation we have over here? So sum we have seen, min we have seen, max we have seen, average we have seen, standard deviation also we have seen. What is the one more left over? Count. So basically for what we'll use the count, and count can work on any of this particular commands. It doesn't need to be an certain values only. On any of this command aggregations, this particular count will work. So basically count will give you the total count case. Okay, so now how we'll use the count is, so select star from employees. If I write, it will fetch the complete data, guys. Now instead of fetching the complete data, now I want to find out how many records are there in my employees table. I don't need to fetch, right? If I want to see only the specific, okay, so what kind of a data I have in a table, I'll use limit. Okay, instead of fetching the complete data, I want to find out how many records are there, how many total records are there in this employees table, means then I don't need to write select star. Okay, so I don't need to fetch the complete data. I can simply change it to count of star from employees. So what it is printing in the result grid? 280. Okay, it is clearly saying that there are 280 records what I can fetch, and that is the count of those records. How many records it can able to fetch from this table. Okay, so from the star over here, that is giving the count, and this count will work on any of the commands case. Like for example, let's say if I want to find out how many people are there having department as IT. Select count of star from employees where department equal to IT. I'll mention semicolon, control enter. So how many people are there? 69 people are there. Okay, so instead of IT, I want to check with any other department. marketing. How many people are there? Again 69 people. Okay, so likewise for in which particular command how many people are there or how much count you can able to print from that condition over there, it will give you the count. That is how count will work over here. So this count, any conditions you can give and any type you can write the commands over here. So if I write select count of star from employees where salary between 65,000 and 75,000. So basically I don't want to fetch the employees details, I only want the count. Okay, so what I am doing, I am keeping the star within the count. Okay, so what star will do? Fetch all the columns and rows. How many columns and rows it can able to fetch by from this condition over there, this in the count will give you the count of those particular employees. See, now how many people are there having their salary in between 65,000 and 75,000? There are 10 people. Out of 280 employees, 103 employees are having their salary in between 65,000 and 70,000 over here. So these are all key points. Okay, so you can also specify these particular key points in your presentations or anywhere if you are fetching or if you are representing the data to the client over there. You can mention all of this. Okay, and it all depends on what kind of an output management is required. Depending on that, you will write case. No need of doing everything. Okay, so if in case if anything needs to be important over there to be shown means, then you can add additionally like this. Okay, so now this is how count will work case. So these are all the aggregations which are sum, average, min, max, next standard deviation and count. Okay, so next. So next now we'll see the group bys. Okay, so group bys is nothing but grouping the data over here guys. Now how I want this grouping over here is basically for what grouping is done is on this aggregations, if I perform any of this aggregation like average of salary, it is giving the average based on the complete data guys. Okay, so now you have all 280 employees. For all these 280 employees, it is giving the what? Average. Okay, so now I don't want the single average. Okay, I don't want the average based on the complete employees. Now I want the average based on their department. Okay, in IT department, who are the employees we have? For those people, what is the average? People who are into this marketing department, what is the average for those specific department employees? Okay, likewise any other, let's say finance department. Okay, in finance department, how many employees are there? Only for that particular employees, what is the average salary? Likewise, now I want to see the average based on the department, not on the overall. So now if I say IT, so there will be few people. So out of the complete people, few people will be into the IT and few people will be into the finance. Now for these people who are having IT as department, for these people what is the average? Next, people who are having finance over here as the department, for these people what is the average? So likewise I want to print the data over here guys. Okay, so for this, so if I want to divide the data and then after if I want to make this aggregations work means, then we need to use something called as group bys. Means basically I am grouping the data. So on what basis I want to group the data based on whatever the column you want. Now what is my criteria here? I want to group the data based on the department. Okay, based on the departments I want to group this data over here. So for that, now we'll execute the commands group by, select department comma average of salary employees group by department. Control enter. So how many departments I have? I have 4 departments. HR department, this is the average salary, and IT department, this is the average salary. Next, finance department, this is the average. Marketing, this is the average. Likewise, it is printing the average department ID wise. And how I am able to print the data department ID wise? Because I am dividing the data department wise. And how I am able to do this? By adding this department into the group by. Okay, so previously we got an error when we have done only the aggregation by adding some additional columns in aggregated columns without using group by, right? So now how I am able to print department ID and also the aggregation average means I am grouping. Okay, so when I group the data over here, people who and all are having IT as the department, so for this people I can print IT single letter. Okay, so single word I can print, so which is IT. So all the people will have the same department. I can print IT as from that common is which is IT, and for those people average. Simple. Okay, so this is how we can print the data when you want to divide the data and then if you want to perform the aggregations. So how you can perform the aggregation separately on different data means by simply grouping the data separately. Okay, so now that is how this employees who and all are into the HR department are having the average, so and so averages. Now okay, averages I am printing and department ID and the average. Now this average, it is giving me so many decimal places case. I don't want all these decimal places, I just want only one decimal place need to be shown. Okay, then what I can do, I can simply add this average of salary into the round off. Okay, rounding. What is the rounding function? Round. I'll add it into the round. And if I want only one decimal base, what I'll do, average of salary comma 1. Control enter. So now it is printing only one decimal place. But what is the one more problem we had here? Column name. Column name is showing it as a round of average of salary comma 1. I don't want to show all this as a heading. Simply what I can do, I can change the name of this heading by giving an alias name as AVG salary. See, so department and the average salary. That's it. So this is how grouping will be working, guys. So whenever you want to group the data on any of this particular column wise, any of this particular basically on column wise, then you can do it by using the grouping. Okay, so now let's understand, can we use any other column for the grouping? For one more example, so employee IDs I cannot use, first name I cannot use, last name, department, salary, hire date, bonus, and manager underscore ID. Okay, so let's say if I want to group the data based on the hire date, and then that is also too much. So here, what is a possible column, or which is a column which is flexible to do grouping over there? Department wise. Okay, or else if you want to do the grouping based on the manager ID also, you can do this. Okay, I can write a command, select manager underscore ID, average of salary from employees group by manager underscore ID. See, people who are having manager ID as 1, average of salary is 59,000. So if I check how many people are there, select count of star from employees where manager underscore ID equal to 1. So how many people are there? 4 people are there. For those 4 people, what is the average I have? 59,000 over here. Okay, so this is how this grouping will work over there. So whenever apart from this aggregation, if you are adding any additional column, make sure it is in the grouping, then only the command will work, guys. Okay, so this is how grouping is done over there. Okay, now additionally, now I want to find out, okay, so values we are able to find out, well and good, it's fine. Okay, now I want to find out how many people are there in each and every department, guys. Okay, so in IT department, how many employees are there? In marketing department, how many employees are there? In finance department, how many employees are there? Okay, so basically the count I want to find. Okay, so till now the values we are checking out by using average or count, what is a min, max or standard deviation, we are able to see the values. Count, what you will do, count will give you to what is a so much additional kind of a data here, guys. Okay, so you can exactly see the count, how many employees are there. Okay, how many employees are having so and so condition like this. Okay, so now like if I write select department comma count of star from employees group by department. See, it is giving the count, right? So now it is dividing the data department wise, and then it is calculating, and then it is counting the employees. So previously when I check with select count of employees, total 280 employees. So now what I am doing, I want to divide those employees, 280 employees. How many people are in the finance department? How many people are in the IT department? I want to divide those people. So for that, what I am doing, I am simply adding, where is this command? Okay, department, this one, right? So this is how I can print the data over here. So HR, in HR department 72 people, IT department 69 people, finance department 70 people, and marketing department 69 people, right? So this is how the data we can find out the count. Okay, and to give this count, why this count came here? Okay, so now this is how count we can use, case. And also now even also you can find out how many people are having in each and every department with conditions also again. Okay, so now if I want to give some conditions like first I want to print from each and every department how many people are having their salaries greater than 85,000, guys. Okay, so select department comma count of star from employees group by department where salary greater than 85,000. Okay, so it is giving an error over here. So where is not validate this position. Okay, I'll remove it from here. From employees where salary greater than 85,000. Next grouping, control enter. See, now how many people are having their salary greater than 85,000, and in which departments we have? Just only in the finance department we have this employees case. There are 11 employees in finance department having their salary greater than 85,000. Okay, let's tweak it, we'll change it to 80. See, greater than 80,000, how many employees? In IT only 1 person, and in finance department 43 people are there. Okay, so this is how we can execute. So if I give less than here, okay, so now you can see HR 72 people are there, IT 66 people are there, Next, marketing 69 people, and in the finance only 21 people are having salary less than 80,000. Okay, so now likewise I am able to print the data, or if I want to see the employees from each and every manager ID, guys, select manager underscore ID comma count of star from employees where. Now what is the conditions? No need of conditions for us as of now initially. So just in to which manager how many employees are been reporting over there. Okay, so how many people are having what manager ID I want to find out from employees group by manager ID. See, null. Okay, without any manager ID there are 37 people. Okay, so now likewise it is giving all the data randomly. If I want to see the data from highest to the lowest means I can simply write order by count of star. Okay, I'll use DESC semicolon control enter. So now apart from this null over there, next, so with a manager ID in which, okay, in for which manager ID we have highest number of people reporting is for manager 19. How I am able to find it out? By looking into the data over here, where I am grouping the data based on the manager ID, and then I am counting how many employees are there in each and every manager IDs. So there are 24 people who are reporting to manager ID 19. So there are 21 people who are reporting to the manager ID 18. Okay, so this is how the count will work is, and also you are grouping the data also here. Okay, so this is called as this grouping. Okay, and in the grouping over here for the conditions, okay, so for any of these conditions, let's say now if I write select manager underscore ID comma count of star from employees. Okay, so select manager underscore ID count of star from employees. Then now I want to see the details of the employees count only for specific manager IDs, not all the manager IDs, only specific manager IDs only I want to see, like 5, 6, 7, 8. In this three managers, in this three manager IDs, how many people are reporting to each and every manager ID? I want to specifically see only for manager ID 5, 6, 7 and 8. Let's say 4 manager IDs we'll see from employees where manager underscore ID. Now if I want to give condition for one value equal to, if I want to give condition for multiple values, then in operator. Okay, so manager ID in 5, 6, 7, 8 group by manager underscore ID. See, it is printing, right? Now if I want to arrange this data, I'll simply add order by manager underscore ID. So in manager 5 there is only one person reporting to manager ID 5. There are 4 people who are reporting to manager ID 6. There are 4 people who are reporting to manager ID 7. There are 4 people who are reporting to manager ID as 8. Okay, so this is how you can see the data by using this group bys, order bys, okay, and conditions, everything we are using over here. Okay, so I'm using the aggregations, I'm using the grouping, I'm using the condition, and I'm also ordering the data here. Okay, so now in this grouping over there for the conditions case, either we can use where clause, or mostly for the conditions in the group by we'll be using having clause case. Okay, if you see the output, this is the output what we got. Okay, I'll show this. in the command line client, enter. So this is the output. Okay, so next, now I'll write one more command here. Select manager underscore id, count of star from employees where. So now, not using the where, employees group by manager underscore id having manager underscore id in 5, 6, 7, 8 order by manager underscore id. Somewhere the name I have given it wrong. Okay, at last. This is also the same output. So in the command line client, we'll show this command, enter. So can you see any of the difference between the output from these two commands? So both above and below, the same outputs I can see. But when you see the command, here I am using a where clause for the condition. So select manager id comma count of star from employees where manager id in 5, 6, 7, 8, next grouping and ordering. Now when you use a having clause, so having clause is for the conditions, like how where clause will work, the same way having will also work. And but this having clause will work only when you are using the group wise case. Okay, within the group wise, if you want to give any conditions, either you can use where clause or having clause. Okay, now here having. Okay, so this is how having clause will work within this group wise case. Okay, so these are all the commands what we have, which we need to understand in the group file. Okay, that's wrap for this chapter, guys. So let's meet in next episode for this SQL series.